Hola, jefas y mamás. Welcome to my new podcast series where I am celebrating the juggle, the hustle, and the heart of ambitious mujeres who are building their dreams while raising their families. I'm Jannese Torres, host of Quiero, Dinero, a proud Latina financial coach, serial entrepreneur, and new mommy. This series was inspired by my own journey into motherhood and the realization that being a boss and a parent isn't about choosing one over the other. It's about redefining what success looks like for us. Each week, I'm bringing you unfiltered conversations, expert advice, and plenty of real talk about balancing work, familia, and everything in between. Whether you're managing boardrooms or playrooms or both, this is your space to feel inspired, seen, and supported. So grab your cafecito, hit play, and join the movement. We're doing it all, and we're doing it our way. Hola, mi gente. Welcome back to Yo Quiero Dinero. And as you can see, if you're watching on the lovely YouTube, your girl's got a new set. All right. We're out here celebrating year 6 of the podcast. I literally cannot even believe that I'm saying that I've been a podcaster for 6 years and doing this full time now for almost 4 years. This podcast has changed my life. You guys have watched it in real time. And one of the biggest life changes that I've had as of very recently is I am a new mom. Yes. So your girl was out here fully pregnant pretty much most of 2024. Did my whole book tour pregnant in secret. Girl, the struggle is real. And now I've welcomed my beautiful daughter. And so today's episode is going to be about financial planning as a business owner. So this is a question that I have gotten from so many of you on the gram, sliding in my DMs, asking me like, how did you plan for your maternity leave? How do you plan for parenthood, especially when you work for yourself? So hopefully with today's episode, I'm going to help you understand my process. Not to say that it's the only way to do it, but it is the process that has allowed me to really enjoy and immerse myself in motherhood without having to worry about finances, which is a huge thing because let me tell you, having a baby is fucking expensive. Okay. If you guys saw the viral post that I had on Instagram Threads recently, you will know that my hospital bill, not including my daughter's hospital bill, because apparently there's a whole ass bill for her that's separate from mine, but my hospital bill came up to over $97,000. And I posted that snapshot on Threads. So if you want to see it, go ahead and follow me there at Yo Quiero Dinero Podcast. The comments were lit up. People were wilding out. Luckily, $97,000 was not what I had to pay out of pocket, but it's just a reminder that like the healthcare system here sucks. Our country is very pro pregnancy and pro birth, but not pro mother. So yeah, let's talk about it. All right. So first and foremost, I will be straight up with you and say that I did not think that motherhood and my financial independence journey was compatible. And I think a lot of that has to do with the experience that I had growing up, seeing my mom basically like sacrifice her own financial security and having to do things like working part-time, letting go of jobs that had benefits just because they were more flexible. And so I was under the impression for a very long time that motherhood was not conducive to being well off financially. And I write about that in detail in Financially Lit, my book. So if you haven't read that, first of all, what are you doing with your life? You can grab a copy at financiallylitbook.com. And I talk about all of the trauma that I had around motherhood and money. And it is one of those topics that when I've had readers reach out to me, they have been like, oh my God, you have verbalized something that I have been feeling for a very long time, but I did not know how to put in words. So if you've ever felt like this money trauma potentially around motherhood because of what you saw your mom or mothers in your circle experience, know that you're not alone. And know that that does not have to be the only narrative. So I'm going to talk to you today about how I plan for my own maternity leave and just for balancing what business is going to look like, what wealth building is going to look like going forward, and just like all the things when it comes to how to now navigate this new role that I have as a mom while still not letting my financial goals and my business goals go to shit. So I think the first thing that makes sense to talk about is how you actually financially plan before motherhood. I knew right away that when I wanted to start a family, that there were things that I needed to take into account. Things like the cost of medical care, of childcare, of baby essentials, all those types of things that you need to successfully and healthily bring a child into the world. And I also needed to account for potential hidden costs, like the loss of productivity when you're a business owner. There's nothing that I've experienced that feels anything close to the exhaustion of your first trimester. When I tell y'all, I don't know how I did this book tour, like I'm not even exaggerating. I would fly in, check into the hotel, go straight to bed, and start getting ready like an hour before any appearance because I was literally dying. If tiredness can be painful, I was painfully tired to the point where I would cry because of how tired I was. Like, I've never experienced anything, not all nighters in college, not, 4 a.m. wake ups to go work out, not 90-minute commutes. Like, none of it has been as fucking exhausting as the first trimester of pregnancy. Shout out to all of you who understand exactly what I'm talking about. It was crazy. There are things that I literally could not do while I was pregnant, and I knew there was time off that I wanted to take off after having my child. So planning for maternity leave expenses and like how I'm going to continue to pay myself and all that stuff were things that I had to really think about. So what did that look like for me? Well, I started thinking about the various options that I had to basically build a maternity fund. Now, for those of you who know my story, I am a serial entrepreneur. And so I have a lot of different income streams. I don't just have like coaching or speaking engagements or brand partnerships. Like, I have close to 10 income streams at this point, and that has all been designed intentionally. Not necessarily with the idea that I wanted to become a mom, but just because I want always the option to be work optional. And so when I was thinking about how am I going to continue to pay my bills, passive income was the thing that popped in my head as like the thing that I need to be focusing on the most. Right. So passive income for me comes from a couple of different sources. My food blog, delicioulights.com, earns over $100,000 a year in passive income through ad revenue and through affiliates. And so I knew that was one steady source that I could rely on to fund my maternity leave. I also have multiple six figures investments that earn dividends. And I know I could pull money out of my investment accounts if I needed to. And then I also have like other ancillary income streams, like Airbnb, for example, brings in at least $10,000 a year. And then the more active programs that I have, like my coaching programs, my workshops, my speaking engagements, those things I knew I wasn't going to be able to rely on as much, especially for maternity leave. So I was really focusing on the passive income that I earn and just like making sure that those systems are as robust as possible. And so, incredibly, for the month of November and December 2024, which are always the biggest months of my blog income, just because as a food blogger, typically your highest income earning months are the end of the year because of the holidays. It depends on what niche you're in, but I'm in traditional Puerto Rican cuisine. The holiday season for us is long as hell. And so November, December are always very fruitful financially for me. And so since I knew I was having my daughter originally in January, but we ended up having her about 3 weeks early. That's for a whole other podcast. November and December totally like gave me ease as far as like how I was going to fund my maternity leave. And the reason why is because those 2 months collectively, my food blog earned $35,000 between those 2 months. So I was like, okay, great. That's all taken care of. That's going to be fine. That's way more than I need to pay my bills. And then I ended up having like a big spurt of Airbnb bookings in January. And so there's extra thousands of dollars that have come in from income there. And I also knew that I was going to be getting a big payment for a sponsored project that I've been working on for the second half of 2024. And so I ended up getting a multiple 5-figure check from that project, which I knew was coming around the time that I was going to be going into maternity leave. So I knew, like, with the income that I was anticipating having come in, I was going to be fine. And so I think it's really important from that aspect to, like, know what your business does, know the seasons, know what's coming in, like your accounts payable, what's in transit, what money do you know it's coming in, and like timing that out so that things can work out for you. And so I know my business enough to like be able to plan financially, like when are the optimal times to do things. Now, obviously, I didn't know how quickly I was going to get pregnant. So timing could have changed. But luckily for me, like all of this income that I knew I had coming in was also conducive to like the time that I was going to go on maternity leave. So funding it was not going to be stressful for me. Now, one of the things that I do recommend for you to do before you give birth or even before you plan on getting pregnant is, especially if you own a business, review your medical coverage. Like if you don't have medical coverage, review it. I was reviewing it in January of 2024. I realized that the plan that I had signed up for through the marketplace was not robust enough. And so I ended up changing it in February. And I'm glad I did because I got way better coverage. I was able to max out my deductible too. So I got my money's worth from my insurance because I planned ahead and like really made sure that all of my prenatal care, my delivery care, and postpartum care was going to be optimally covered with my insurance. Another thing that I wish I had done, which I did not know was a thing, was exploring supplemental insurance, like disability insurance. You can actually purchase disability insurance if you're an entrepreneur, business owner. And what that does is it basically pays you out short term disability, like if you were working a 9 to 5 job. But the catch is that you have to sign up for it before you're pregnant. If you're already pregnant, you can't sign up to use it for your maternity leave if you're already pregnant because pregnancy is considered a pre existing condition. So, just a heads up, if you want to have a baby, you're self employed, get disability insurance because that's a great way for you to supplement your income so that you don't have to worry about other things, having income streams. Potentially, it can save you that stress. Now, I think it's also important for you to look at your cash savings in this scenario, looking at your emergency fund, potentially creating a sinking fund that is for unexpected baby related costs. And I just encourage you to save your money. Okay. One of the things that I had to pivot about my plan is because I was originally creating just a big emergency fund or just like a big baby fund, but I ended up using most of my baby fund to buy a house, which was not in my original plan for 2024. But the opportunity came up and I was ready to leave where I was living. And also, my partner and I were just very much on the same page of like, we need to get out of this city because it's time for us to like get in the suburbs, get in a good school district here in Florida. And so I wasn't planning on originally buying a house. And so I was going to have like a bunch of cash savings, but I ended up using that for the down payment. And so then I knew, all right, if I'm using this money for down payment, then I'm going to have to find other income streams and other pools of money to pay for maternity leave. And so that's where like the blog and all those other things came in. So there's no such thing as saving too much money, TLDR, when you're having a baby. Okay. And optimizing your business and structuring it for flexibility is the thing that I want to talk about next. So before I even decided to get pregnant, I had already done the work of investing in systems and tools to automate operations in my business. So I originally started doing that work when I was planning for the book writing process, because for anybody who's written a book, you'll know it's pretty much like giving birth, especially if you are also a mom. This is literally like birthing something into the world. Like the amount of time and energy that you have to dedicate to this, the amount of space that you have to carve out in your life and your business to be able to do this, it takes a lot. And so one of the things that I started doing even back in 2022 was like automating systems, creating automatic funnels for my programs, turning them evergreen, like making them accessible so that I could continue to have sales, continue to have income coming in without me having to do live launches all the time. All right. So I think it's important for you to think about how you're going to delegate and automate in your business. Think about if you need to hire additional support, whether that's employees, contractors to handle tasks during maternity leave. Like now is the time to be thinking about that. Because when you're in the throes of New motherhood, making strategic decisions like that, you're going to be exhausted. So plan ahead. I want to double down on how important it is for you to create passive income streams in your business, regardless of what type of business you have. So, thinking about things like digital products, courses, things that folks can access without you having to physically deliver them is so key. Like, I really hate when I see entrepreneurs who are just out here literally struggling for every dollar. Honey, ain't nobody got time. Okay. Ain't nobody got time. When you have these passive income streams, this is going to reduce the financial pressure that you feel, especially in the beginning as you are navigating maternity leave and then figuring out like what that next step of your business life looks like. So, really think about how you can diversify your income streams as a business owner with digital products, with passive income sources. Get that Airbnb going, get that course built, get those templates, like do the things that you need to do so that you can make money without you having to show up for every single dollar. Communication is super important, not just with your team members about what kind of support you're going to need, but also with your clients. You should definitely be letting people know what your availability is going to be. Communicate your plan with transparency. Okay. And like, do not be afraid to ask for help. Make a plan for the plan. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no such thing as over planning when it comes to this. So just clear communication and also boundaries. Like, your client should understand when you are available and when you're not. You shouldn't be trying to slide in your DMs, trying to get support when you're clearly like out of office. Make sure that everybody knows what's going on. All right. So let's talk about long-term planning, right? Because yes, you have this immediate, new, exciting venture ahead of you with regards to motherhood, but honey, you're still going to get old. You still need to plan for the future. I need you to not just be thinking about nursery colors and the outfits that you want and getting the baby Brezza machine that's going to automatically make your formula bottles in 4 seconds like an espresso. So I need you to continue contributing to retirement accounts. If you don't have retirement accounts as a self-employed person, please get it together. Okay. Please pick up a copy of my book because I will tell you what your options are. And I also need you to plan for what that reduced income is going to look like from a long-term savings perspective. Motherhood, parenthood is going to put a dent in your finances. That's just a given. So you need to plan. If you had financial goals that now are going to take longer, restructure the plan so that you can continue to pursue those goals and you're not just like giving up on them. Also, now is the time to start thinking about what you're going to do to invest in your child's future. Thinking about options for savings like a 529 plan or a custodial account. You can open these accounts before the child is born. So I opened my daughter's 529 college savings account before she was born. All I had to do was open the account in my name. Okay. And then when she was born, I opened another account in her name, transferred the funds from my account to her account, and that was it. So you can literally start saving for your child before they're even born. You can do the exact same thing with a custodial brokerage account. As far as what type of accounts you should have, it's really up to you. You and your partner or whoever, caretaker for you and your child should have that discussion. I have both for my daughter. I have a 529 plan and I have a custodial brokerage account just because I want her to have access to funds, not just for education, but also for like general purposes, whether she wants to buy a car or her first home, whatever. And I also obviously plan on teaching her about money early and often. Now, obviously, this is a really important time for you to have critical money conversations with your partner if you are partnered in this journey to motherhood. So, aligning your personal and business goals with your family priorities is important. One of the things that I talked to my partner about was him becoming a stay-at-home dad. Because when we were looking at the numbers for childcare versus what he was bringing in, it was pretty much like your salary is basically going to go all towards childcare. So it makes more sense for you to be home. We'll have the peace of mind that someone that we can trust, obviously ourselves, can be here taking care of our daughter versus putting her in a childcare setting where we can hope for the best, but you just never know what's going to happen in these scenarios. So that was something that we came to the decision was the most logical step financially. And so he is now currently a full-time stay-at-home dad. And so one of the things that I did to obviously make this advantageous to not only him but myself as well is that I am paying him out of the business a salary that would be equivalent to like what he'd be making at the former job. And so this gives me a write off tax wise, which is incredible. And it also gives him a salary that he can then use to invest, save, and do all the things, right? So it's important that if you're going to be asking this of your partner, of them being a stay-at-home parent, that you are providing them with financial security. And so this is the way that I'm doing that for him. And it also is benefiting my business because he works in the business as a video editor and like content creator. So it is like super beneficial for me to pay him to do work that he was already doing for the business and also getting an awesome write-off. Like I'm keeping the money in the family, if you will. That's how wealth is built, y'all. That's what the rich people do. FYI. Another conversation that we had once my daughter was born is we need to make sure like she's taken care of financially. And so he signed up for life insurance. I have life insurance. And so we just want to make sure that, God forbid, something were to happen to either one of us, we would have that additional financial support to hire help or pay for whatever needs to be paid for. And both of us have gone with the term life insurance route. We're not into IULs or whole life insurance. None of that shit makes any sense for most of us. If you want to learn more about my thoughts on insurance and what makes sense for you, pick up a copy of my book, financiallitbook.com. All right, so let's talk about community and resources, right? The first thing that I would recommend to you, especially if you are a entrepreneur, is you need a circle of entrepreneur friends. You need entrepreneur moms for advice and emotional support. I have an incredible circle of women, thanks to this podcast, that I can call on and ask for financial advice, emotional advice, all the things. It's a vibe. So create your circle, create your community. It's so important. Thinking about how you are going to outsource non-business tasks, things like meal prep, cleaning, whatever it is that you need to plan for financially, now is the time. Okay. One of the things that I planned for during my maternity leave and just postpartum was a doula and a night nurse. So I got a doula to basically be my support during the pregnancy and birth process. And now I have a night nurse who comes 3 nights a week and stays overnight in my daughter's room and basically just feeds her, changes her diaper, makes sure that she's good so that mom and dad can get 8 hours of sleep uninterrupted 3 nights a week. Game changer, y'all. Okay. Like hiring support, outsourcing tasks, super, super critical to not getting overwhelmed and burnt out, especially in the beginning. A night nurse, if you can afford it, is one of the best investments you will make in your postpartum care by far. How I found mine is through an agency called Hush Hush Little Baby. They have locations throughout the United States, and they were recommended to me by a neighbor who is in my community. So outsource, outsource, outsource. Like, I love the idea of a nesting party where you invite some close friends over to your house and you guys get together and you do meal prep for like a day. You know, you just cook a bunch of stuff, pack a bunch of things, freeze a bunch of food. So that way, when your newborn is here, all you got to do is heat and eat. You don't have to be out here cooking. Like, you know, when you have family and friends offer to come over, have them come over with a purpose. Have them come over because they're going to help you with a task, whether that's laundry, cleaning, whatever the hell. Don't have people coming over to your house just to visit you and your baby and just hold the baby and just take fucking selfies. That's not why you need people to be coming to your house. Okay. I was very, very explicit with people, like very specific. Don't be fucking asking me to come to my house to hold my child. I don't need you to hold my child. I need you to come here with a purpose, bring me food, clean the house, do some shit, contribute to my mental health. Don't deteriorate it. Okay. Now, continuing on the theme of outsourcing and resources and community, thinking about making sure that you're looking at your budget. If you don't use an app right now to like manage your budget, maybe take a look at some apps and platforms to track your expenses, your savings, and your investments. Go to yoquierodineropodcast.com/money tools if you want my recommendations, and also take a look at some business tools that you can use to streamline your operations, whether that's like accounting software. Maybe you've been doing the Excel spreadsheet shit for a while. Now's the time for you to sign up for an accounting software. Like, cut it out. Or a client management system, like Honeybook or whatever. Like, put systems in place. Okay. Now, it's also, I think, important for you to create an environment that is continuing to inspire you. And then I recommend you looking for coaches, podcasts, blogs, influencers that cater to entrepreneurial mothers. Hi, you're here. And I'm going to be introducing you to a bunch of other incredible mompreneurs through my new series that is premiering this year called Jefas y Mamás, where we're going to be talking about how to balance the hustle and bustle that comes with motherhood and entrepreneurship. So stay tuned for that. And obviously, listen to Yo Quiero Dinero, y'all. Listen to the podcast, watch us on YouTube, pick up a copy of the book. All of these things are going to help you in your entrepreneurial journey and also in your motherhood journey. So please take advantage of these resources. They are free. All right. So I'm going to give you 4 action steps to close out this conversation. First off, start saving early for a baby. And start getting creative with how you're going to fund your maternity leave. Start planning that. Make sure you get really good at delegating and make sure that you automate where you can. So start saving, plan your leave, delegate, automate. Those 4 things will allow you to enjoy this process and will allow you to really create a robust financial plan for motherhood. I want to encourage you to share your own financial planning stories or challenges in the Instagram DMs. You can DM me at Yo Quiero Dinero Podcast. I would love to hear more about your story. When you listen to this episode, let me know what resonated with you. And I want to also let you guys know that I have this brand new offer called the Investor Power Hour. What I'm doing is I'm sitting down with you for an hour and I'm helping you create your financial freedom plan. So if that plan includes motherhood, if that plan includes early retirement, if that plan includes retiring your parents or retiring your husband or whatever that big financial goal is for you, book an hour with me, the Investing Power Hour. You can find the link for that and all my other offers at yoquierodineropodcast.com/links. I would love to help you create your financial freedom plan. So take a look at that and let's see how we can work together. Please make sure to check out my side hustle course, my blogging course, my podcasting course, my passive income course. I have lots of different programs for y'all to learn about how to make your world financially lit. So make sure to check out that at yoquierodineropodcast.com/links. And I just want to leave you with this final thought. Motherhood does not have to mean pausing your dreams. It is about building a legacy while creating a life that you love. So don't let anybody out here tell you that you will not be able to pursue your goals and dreams as a mom. It's a fucking lie. The thing that you need to pursue your goals and dreams as a mom or as anybody else for that matter is money. And so if you're here, you're already one step ahead of the game. Until next time, y'all, stay poderosa.